We're going to start that back up on the test side with all cities. We're going to run that test for a few days. Then we will launch it over to the live CAD or the production side of CAD. But I just wanted to add that the test did work today. It's Phil got it, Phil got it on his phone. I got it on my phone. I did do a screenshot of the phone in my report to you all as well. The one thing I can add now that with the interface up and running, it now shows, I know it's not going to be the best on here, but it does show a map now on there. And it shows the full type call that it is. It actually, if there's a modifying circumstance like this one was with an injury, that now shows up on there. And what's really nice, instead of somebody saying repeat the traffic, they can just hit this speaker.
2117 and 2114 respond to motor vehicle crash at Arlington Drive and Del Norte Avenue. 2117.
So they can repeat it back as often as they want. It stays on their phone as long as they want. So the testing went very well today. I was very pleased with that. And that's the only thing I really want to add to the report unless somebody has any questions.
All right, any questions for Paul? Not seeing any. Thank you, Paul, for the report. Next are the operations committee comments. So we'll start with fire operations. Chief, anything to report from your last meeting?
No, I thought everything went pretty well. We talked, he expanded on it. Station alerting is, always on the front lines talking about that, transitioning from getting the ATX box into the fire station. We finally got that in there. We have to get it still hooked up to AT&T lines and stuff. So we're just kind of timeline. I will tell you, Paul has been very transparent about his communication with Regis and with Motorola. And we feel like lately it's kind of been the bog down, or the bottleneck, I should say, is with Regis. And that's becoming more of an issue where basically I have to get involved. He's been including me on some emails. So we're trying to get that, kind of using as the chair, representing the seven agencies, says, hey, we need to get this done. So we'll see what happens with that. We have a video conference meeting tomorrow, and we'll see probably more of that will come available and see if we can get a time frame going. But everything else with dispatching issues and stuff, I attended a staff meeting yesterday along with you, Dave, and we felt that was good. I felt that was a very productive meeting, and we found some things we can come out of that a little bit better, getting more communication from dispatchers to us. But right now it seems like everything's going as planned, and we don't really have a whole lot of issues going on. Connectivity issues, we're still isolated, and he's working on that. Paul has talked to us about when he was in with that conference last week with Motorola. He's actually found some things that could possibly help solve that problem with Webster Groves. So I think, really honestly, I think things are starting to come together and seeing a better picture. So that's my thoughts.
That's great. Any questions for Chief? All right, thank you. All right, police operations, Chief Andreski.
I think we're kind of the same. One of our biggest concerns on the police side was our call times. Obviously, we're showing very poor numbers. Some of them were at triple and quadruple what we were looking at this time last year, but Paul was able to work with Regis, and I don't think I'm probably going to explain that the right way, where those numbers were coming from in the tables on the back end of that system. But basically we're getting our correct call times now to us, so those numbers are looking more on par to where they should be now. So that was a big issue for the chiefs, and that seems to be resolved or resolving itself. And talked about a couple other little things. I was unable to be there on Tuesday. It's Tuesday now, right? Yeah, today's Wednesday. I'm losing track of days this week. Yesterday, so my deputy chief, who's not as familiar with some of this stuff, was there. So he's like, I don't know what I got into, and I was asked all these questions by dispatchers. So that's okay. It was a good experience for him. So but he said, Paul, that you have some notes from that meeting to bring back to the board, just about kind of some asks and things that we can do on our end to help the dispatchers out. So that'll be good.
Yeah, I'll try to get those to you hopefully later today, Beth, if not tomorrow. And just for the managers, what the deal was, we found out was wrong with the police reports that Beth was referencing. The reports were pulling the correct times. The times in the tables were correct. What had happened is when Bola, it's actually kudos to Joe. Joe sent me some screenshots of the reports, which looked a little concerning to me. So I knew exactly what Beth and the other chiefs were talking about. Well, when I ran the reports for all priority 1 calls, and then I ran the report for priority 0 through 9. And all times in both reports were identical. So right there, we knew something was wrong. So what was happening was the reporting system, the Microsoft SQL reporting system, was not taking into consideration removing certain priorities when it calculated the times. Once that was fixed, I mean, for example, Bola, some of your calls, I think, went from a 10-minute response to a 4-minute response. So it drastically improved. So that's what the problem was with the reporting.
All right, any questions for Chief Andreski? All right, and like you said, I think Major Barry, right? He's a major there.
Correct, yes.
He had asked one question of the group, something about what type of call they were having this particular issue with. And I think everybody in the room answered at the same time with a different call type. So he got hit with a truckload of answers all at once. It was great. That was probably my favorite part of the whole thing. So
Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
yeah, it was fun. He had a good time, I'm sure.
Yes, at least there
Thanks
was
for sending them.
breakfast.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Next on the agenda, we have ECDC bylaw changes or updates. This was circulated in the packet, I think, and separately as well. I think everybody had a chance to look over that. Paul, did you want to open with a little bit about the changes that were made there? I know that in your packet, you've got some of those outlined.
Yeah,
Just the major or substantial items, more so
Yeah.
than the spelling corrections and that sort of thing.
Yeah, 5 of the 9 are literally spelling ones, so that's very minimal. The ones that I just want to mention, and it is only introduction because they have to be in front of the board for a while, and the board may elect not to do anything until all of it permanently appoints a manager. But the only ones I will talk about, if you look at the packet explanation, I'm going to talk real quick about 4 of them. The first one, page 4, the addition of operations officer of secretary. That is, and these are all referenced the fire side. There is no secretary on the fire side, or fire operations, police operations. So Phil or Chief Goody does have the next in line acting as secretary. So I just basically wanted to add the position in of secretary. The page 7.1 references changing the operation chairs from 1 year to 2 years. When the operation chairs, David and myself met, it was discussed about changing the operation chairs to a 2-year term, just like the managers. However, alternating on alternate years as the managers. So we have a continuity with at least some of the boards as transitions happen. So the first page 7 is just changing from a 1-year term to a 2-year term. The second page 7, and this is up to the board, it's just at the very end, it currently says that the chairs cannot serve consecutive terms. There may be times moving forward that it makes sense that the chair stays the same. So I just added in there with approval of the board of directors or without approval of the board of directors. So that way, if some special occurrence happens, the board can authorize the operation chairs to remain the same. And page 8, unless I duplicated, I apologize, was talking about adding the secretary for the operations chairs. Let me check on that real quick. Oh, I see what I did. Page 7 are where the officers start being talked about. Page 8 is actually where the secretary is mentioned. So that's my mistake on that. That's really the biggest change, is the fact that we want to extend that from 1 year to 2 years. And then to do it alternating with the board. If, like I said at the beginning, if this board would like to wait till Olivet assigns a permanent manager, the only thing that I would like to see, if the board agrees, is by motion that the operation chairs can remain the same during this July 1 change. And then that way we can do the bylaws change once Olivet puts in a permanent city manager.
Yeah, I like that concept because in the past, we have had interims attend the board meetings, but not be voting members. And I just saw that in this draft document, it had Darren's name. So I don't think we should do a bylaws amendment and have an interim, for the official record. So it'd be great if we had all of the seats filled. But I understand what you're saying. I think that if we are in agreement about extending the terms, we document that in the minutes. If we're all in agreement that when we make the bylaws change, we're in agreement that change be made.
Yes, Jennifer.
I have two questions. Are the operations committees okay with these proposed changes? And then secondly, does the board of directors, not for this current, what Amy just said, putting this 2-year rotation in place, but the page 7, where the operations chair and vice chair cannot serve consecutive terms without approval of the board of directors, is that really something the board of directors needs to approve, or should it just be a vote of the members of the operations committees themselves? They choose their chairs and vice chairs.
But yeah, I think it was purposely done that the board, so that we are making sure that the chiefs rotate that responsibility and don't,
Yeah.
by vote, stick it with someone, right?
Okay.
Right, or just have one person that's willing to do it, that gets to do it for 5 terms, 10 years, right?
And Jennifer, both chairs were comfortable with changing it to a 2-year term. Both understood about the continuity of having somebody in those chair positions as another board was rotating.
And they're okay with having secretaries?
I'll say yes, but I'll let them speak up too.
I'll go
Go
first.
ahead, chief. Go.
I'll go first. I'll just be quite honest, that's a relief. Because when I was trying to run the meetings and trying to take notes, I was missing things, and the meetings were going really long. Because I was trying to play catch up, trying to write things and not being able to not go down several rabbit holes, as everybody in been in meetings has had that done to them before. So I like that. So the fire ops, now we have a deputy person, the person that's going to take my position once my term's up. He's next in line, so he's kind of seeing what's going on. So he's been taking notes. It seemed like the last meeting that happened, it seemed like it's working out well for us.
Thanks, Chief.
Great.
I don't have any issues. I agree that would be helpful. Because like Chief Goody was saying, it's easy to get distracted and down some of those rabbit holes and start not paying attention to the note-taking aspect of things.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you both. Any other questions or comments on the proposed changes at this point? All right, so we will hold off on a vote on that until we have a permanent replacement there in Olivet.
Hey, David.
Yes,
I mean that, and I'll take what you guys want to do if you want to wait till the June meeting to do this. What about any support by a vote of leaving those chairs as the same they are in case they don't get an appointment in, or do you just want to wait till the June meeting and do that?
what's the typical date for the appointment? Kind of flip back to that.
Yeah, when does it end for you guys? If you went off at your end of your year or whatever?
July 1, when you guys rotate, would be their rotation as well. I
Right.
just don't know when Olivet's going to appoint their manager.
For right now, let's plan to take it all up on the 21st. If we need to do something differently or even on the 21st, if we needed to, we could go ahead and make the appointments at that time
Sounds
without
good.
the bylaw change. If anybody just, unless someone disagrees. All right, we'll just play it that way. All right, anything else on bylaws?
That's it, sir.
Looks like we're good. Okay, next is board member comments. We'll go around real quick. We got Brentwood on there again. I assume we're talking about Brentwood.
Oh.
Paula, anything going on?
No, I have nothing to report.
Great. Amy, Richmond Heights.
Nothing to report.
Okay, I don't have anything here in Clayton. Jennifer, Rock Hill.
Nope, I don't have anything.
Okay, Michael's not here for Maplewood. Marie, Webster Groves.
All good in the hood.
All right, great. And then finally, Darren, welcome to the meeting from Olivet.
Thank you.
Any comments from Olivet?
I got a big hole in my front yard from a fire station alerting, but Wireless USA was here a couple days ago, so that's about all. Nothing as far as dispatching is concerned, so all good.
Well,
Sounds
that's
good.
good news, actually, Darren, from there finally. I appreciate that.
Great
All right.
entertainment for my office for about a week.
They trenched it?
Great. Well, if anything comes up over the next period here while you're in that seat, let us know, and we're happy to help if it's matters of dispatching or really anything else. So welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
And then finally, future board of director meetings. You can see all the dates there. We are going with the meet every other month schedule. So
I will take proposed off of those as well, David, on the next agenda.
great, excellent. So that next meeting, as we said, will be on June 21st, and then we'll have a new chair on July 1st. So that would be my last meeting as the chair, and then we'll do the we'll rotate on the operations as well as needed. So, all right. I don't believe we have a need for a closed session unless someone wants to make a motion for that. Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, motion from Marie,
Second,
second from Bola. All those in favor?
aye.
Bye.
All right, that's it. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
That was a short meeting.
That was good.
Thank you. Good meeting.
Take care. See ya. Bye.
That is a record.
You all have a wonderful day. Oh, they're all gone.